This is a big issue we've got to talk about before we get done today, and that is the issue of how to prevent burnout of the caregiver. Rob, do you want to jump on that, and then Annette, or how do we want to do it?
I'd be glad to. Of all the caregiver tips that I offer in my book, the number one thing that I mention sounds selfish, which is before you ever try to take care of the patient or your loved one, you need to take care of yourself first, because it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And if you don't eat right, if you don't get as much sleep as you can, if you don't exercise, you are going to burn out. And then you're being selfish, because if you're not at your best, you can't take care of the person you love the best way possible. So absolutely, that's critical.
And what trick, oh, no, wait a minute, before we jump, Rob, what, besides sleep and exercise, what other tricks, and I want to hear Annette say the same thing, what other, drill down on that a little bit. Let's get down and give us some more practical tips.
Don't hold back on us, Rob.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, and here's, earlier on in the book, or I'm sorry, in this conversation, I had said I'd learned from my mistakes. The biggest mistake I made was I acted like a martyr. I didn't take help. I refused help. I felt it was the man's role. Guys, pay attention to this. I felt it was the man's role to take care of everything and do it by myself, and that's what I did, and I did burn out. So I'm probably not the best person to go to in terms of the things that I learned, but I used everybody's help eventually that I could. It was like I had somebody make a meal for me, and it was like this light bulb went off that said, hey, I could get somebody to do this for me so I don't have to, or clean the house, or whatever it may be. So I learned slowly. I can't say that I had an epiphany. I was anything but that.
It's also an honor to be caring for the caregiver, right? I mean, isn't that the easiest way to help? I just, you know, I remember when I was caring for my grandfather, and I left I haven't been in a car accident or I haven't gotten a ticket since January 20th of 1996. But when I was caring for my grandfather, besides that, I got into 2 car accidents in one day. And it was because my head was elsewhere. And I was a threat and a risk to other people because I was being that selfish caregiver that was trying to do everything. Annette, I know you've got something. I can see it on the tip of your tongue. What do you want to add?
Well, unfortunately, that's a very typical scenario. Not only is the caregiver stressed, distracted, could be very tired, and could be ill. So one of the first things I needed to do when I found out I was now going to be in a caregiver role is I made appointments to see all of my doctors. And so I had, full analysis of, what is the condition of, my heart, my blood, whatever, so that I knew that I was well enough to do what I needed to do. And if you have a particular condition, you need to be particularly sensitive to the fact that you are in a stressful situation like you've never imagined before, and you can't just muscle your way through it. So how is it going to help your loved one if you end up with a heart attack, with a stroke, with some kind of episode because you've let yourself get run down, because you're not being as attentive as you need to be? And you may be a hero and they might put a plaque on your wall, but if you've really not done any service to the person who's ill. So I try to incorporate things such as meditation, yoga, tai chi, something that is stress reducing. Meditation is an excellent thing to do for yourself as well as the person who is needing care. And the reduction of stress will help everyone. And I just want to say one more thing about this, because it's not just about how you feel or whether or not you'll be able to continue in this critical job that you're performing, but when you are under tremendous stress, you are not as creative, as intuitive as you need to be. And you need to be thinking about every possibility to help that person and help yourself. So why would you cut off the most creative parts of your brain because you're under so much stress that you are no longer able to use all of your tools? You wouldn't do that. And so that is another reason why I think a good caregiver has to also be mindful of their own stress level and really manage it very, very well, deliberately well.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jay Harness, and I want to share with you important information that I believe that every newly diagnosed patient with breast cancer needs to know.
I'm a breast cancer survivor.
I am a breast cancer survivor.
I am a breast cancer survivor.
And I want every woman to know
About personalized breast cancer treatment
and the genomic test.
A test that helps guide a woman and her doctor
to the best treatment options for her.
Pass it on.